Okay, so I'm going to start off showing a video that I think is going to make all Canadians proud. Let's take a look. Did you notice the difference between the two teams? Let me play it once more. You know, as a Canadian, this makes me proud that our players will actually acknowledge their fans, and even other fans as well. But the United States players? Yeah, I'm not surprised. And I'm not the only one either. Take a look at these comments from the video. First one, Canada simply does not have the arrogance. Please don't make the mistake that we are not confident. We just aren't rude as a whole. The next person says, US players won't even acknowledge the fans. Shameful. The next one, this people is why Americans sew Canadian flags on their backpacks when they travel abroad. USA, bunch of spoiled brats. Canada, grown-up men. And this one's kind of funny. Bet all the Canadians thank their bus drivers too. Well, this Canadian did. I took my fair share of buses growing up, and I always thank the bus driver, even if I was leaving through the back of the bus. I also say thank you if someone holds the door open for me, and I say sorry if I accidentally bump into somebody. But some of these comments are actually pretty funny, because you have US citizens saying Team USA is locked in, and that's why they're not acknowledging their fans. Yeah, I don't buy that. I'm going to read out more comments at the end of the video. But before I do that, I have a few things I want to show everybody. The Blue Jays spring training is starting in Florida. And this report kind of glazes over the fact that many Canadians used to fly down to participate in the spring training activities. In my last report on the Blue Jays spring training, we did have some comments from our community saying that they used to fly down, but not anymore. And I'm sure this guy is not the only one. And last, I want to show a video of our fellow Canadians living abroad, celebrating Team Canada at the Olympics. So we'll get into all of this in today's video. And if you're new here and you want to hear more from a Canadian perspective, without any US bias, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. All right, let's get started.
Mardi Gras in Dunedin, Florida, the small town of 38,000 celebrating, and while the beads are flying, the parade passes by TD Park, and it isn't hard to find Blue Jays fans.
What do the Jays mean to Dunedin?
A lot. You're the best.
We love the Jays.
This is Blue Jay country down here.
Okay, I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, it kind of makes me cringe hearing them say that. They're cheering for a Canadian sports team, but I do wonder how many of these people actually voted for the Orange McNugget. I mean, there's got to be some people in this picture that have voted for the Orange McNugget and follow the beliefs of the right. I don't know, maybe I'm just nitpicking, but it just seems weird to me. And it's sad that these days we have to kind of stop and think, are these guys a part of the resistance or are they part of the problem?
Bowser's, located just up the road from the ballpark, styles themselves as a Blue Jays bar.
It puts Bowser's on the map.
And while Mardi Gras brings out the crowds, owner Janet Bostert has noticed something different about Canadian visitors.
A lot of our Canadians, I call them our Canadians, that come down to visit us, they're not staying as long.
Did she just say our Canadians? Like we're a piece of property that they own? You can say our when it's referencing like our business or our shop or our staff. But don't say our Canadians. You can say things like our friends or our Canadian friends. But don't treat us like a piece of property. Yeah, I'm definitely nitpicking on this one, but I don't care.
While support for the Blue Jays can be seen on the homes and in the shop windows of Dunedin, a recent report from visitflorida.org shows 15% fewer Canadians came to Florida through the first 3 quarters of 2025. So what's happening here?
You know, they're family to us, so we don't feel it in that way.
The Blue Jays have been in Dunedin for their entire 50-year history, the only major league team to do so. Local Mayor Mo Freeney says the team adds an estimated $200 million to the area economy, and this year Jays ticket sales are up.
When the season's on, you know, everybody's walking around town and filling the restaurants and shopping in the shops.
Even inside Blue Jays spring training, as fans gather from Toronto and elsewhere, the players feel the warmth from this community.
Just driving through and seeing everyone's kind of the Vladdy's face and George's face, not my face, but everyone else's face up on the board. It's awesome. And, you know, walking downtown, it's such a great town to kind of walk and see all the Blue Jays fans out there.
When you get closer to the ballpark, you see all the Blue Jays and all the Blue Jays logo, and the people feels really familiar with the team, and we obviously feel that.
And I'm sure the citizens of Dunedin make you feel special. I mean, sports is a big priority in the US, but it doesn't sit right with me. And the reason it doesn't sit right is because there are people in Dunedin that may support a Canadian baseball team, but they don't support Canada. And I'm going to guess that there's going to be people watching the Jays game and firmly believing that Canada should be the 51st state.
Helping the players feel a bit of the support they get at home while they prepare for the season. And
it's a lot warmer than Canada right now, I'll tell you that.
Vice President of Florida Operations for the Blue Jays, Shelby Nelson, says Blue Jays fandom here lasts longer than the spring.
It's really, really strong. I mean, we had some watch parties during the World Series, and they were packed.
The club opened up TD Ballpark during the playoffs, hosting 10 watch parties through the World Series. And this past Saturday, they welcomed the Jays back with their annual golf cart parade.
So we're going to be rooting them on. We want it all.
A partnership rooted in support for the team and each other.
Now, I know some people are going to say that I'm too hard on the people in Dunedin, and that sports and politics should not be mixed together. But I'm not even talking about the sport of baseball. I'm talking about the people supporting a Canadian baseball team, and some of them may be part of the problem. I know many Canadians used to fly down and participate as well, but many have canceled, and they're not going to support the community of Dunedin, even if they support our Canadian baseball team. And shout out to WCG-RVI for putting your country ahead of a sports team. Now, I want to end this video on more positive notes, talking about Team Canada, as well as our fellow Canadians living abroad cheering on our teams. Let's take a look at the first clip.
Next up is ice hockey. As the Canadian men's team prepares to start their tournament, they're taking in all the sights over in Milan. Yesterday, the squad was spotted soaking in some local culture via the metro. So that sea of red jackets there on the local train, they just took the train home. They were watching speed skating like the rest of the folks over there, and they just acted like commuters and jumped into the subway and took the metro.
I like that.
Olympians are just like us.
No, our Canadian Olympians aren't like you, and we're not like your citizens. And when Canadians travel abroad, we are respected, not like US citizens who have to hide behind the Canadian flag. We don't have to flagjack anyone. We're proud of our Canadian flag, and we just don't want you guys to use it. I know this might not relate to the Canadian hockey team being in the subway, but it is a flagjacking story that I have mentioned on my channel. I'm going to mention it again. At least for those who are new to my channel might not have heard of this yet. So before COVID, when I was frequently traveling around for work, during my off times, I would often wear a hat just to go travel around and, do the sightseeing stuff. And this one time I was at a crosswalk waiting for the light to change. And this guy taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, are you from Canada?" I was like, "Yeah." Because at the time I had my Team Canada hockey hat on. And then he gives me this weird look, kind of looking me up and down. And I said, "Do I need to prove to you that I'm Canadian?" So what I did is I started to list out all the provinces and territories and their capitals. And that was enough to prove that I was Canadian. We had a good laugh after that. But the guy also mentioned that he has met a lot of people that were flagjacking. And I have as well. Now, I know this story is completely off topic from what I was discussing earlier. But I think I just got triggered when he said that Team Canada is just like them. Now, the last thing I want to show before I go back to the comments from the beginning of the video. Many of our fellow Canadians are supporting Team Canada in Italy. And I thought this was a pretty cool story. Let's take a look.
So these are some fans decked out at a sports bar in Milan called the Blues Canal. It's been taken over by Canadians cheering on athletes at the Olympics. So this year, unusually, there is no official Canada House, so fans took matters into their own hands. Their unofficial Canada House makes our moment.
It's just like you're walking to a bar full of friends. Everyone's just wearing a sea of red. I wanted to, a place to celebrate Team Canada, and we couldn't find a spot. I just kind of took onus, just Googled a few sports bars in Milan. I sent them a message, said, "Hey, if you guys want to adopt us for a couple weeks, and we need a place to drink some beer and cheer on Team Canada." They were just like, "Yep, come on down." We brought some flags down, brought some jerseys for the staff, and kind of made it our own. Now everyone kind of knows about it, and some athletes too.
All of a sudden, Piper and Paul show up,
and you hear a huge cheer. Everyone starts applauding and cheering.
It was really like having a place that you know you can go and you feel like home.
It's a really nice meeting place for Canadians to be able to just chat. And that's honestly one of the biggest parts and the most fun parts of the entire Olympic experience.
You're totally right. Hats off to these fans. It is so strange not to have a Canada House. People were asking us in Milan, where is it? Where is it? These fans built their own WhatsApp group. They figured it out themselves. And this bar is owned by a brother and sister who've never even been to Canada. But I think maybe we should change that.
You know, I think it's really cool that the bar owners open up their doors for Canada. And it does seem strange to me that there was no Canada House in Italy. I mean, when the 2010 Olympics were in Vancouver, my friends and I were house hopping for 2 weeks straight. And I drank a lot more than I should have. But I commend the bar owners for helping Canadians in Italy have a gathering spot to celebrate our team. Now, I promised at the end of the video I would read out a few more of those comments. So here it goes. Yep, the inexplicable American arrogance is so evident every single time. One builds bridges, the other builds walls and asks for half the bridge that we were ready to give to them. Now here's a negative post, obviously from a US citizen, probably a MAGA. Deceiving post USA not slapping hands with Canadian fans while Canada slaps hands with Canadian fans. And you wonder why the US fans think you are trash. Now I'm not afraid to admit it. Reading this out was really difficult for me. And I had to edit it about 3-4 times before I can say it properly. This person obviously doesn't know what punctuation marks are, and it sounds like it's written by a 10-year-old. But it does emphasize how ignorant many are on the right. There were even negative comments saying that the fans that Team USA walked by were not even US citizens. Well, I for one don't know anyone that would wear a toque that is colored red, white, and blue with stars on it. You can't reason with these people. I'm going to read out a few more and then I'll end this video. In Canada, you say good morning to your neighbors. In the States, you shoot your neighbors. Canadians make us proud, pure class. And the last one. As a European, I always thought they were similar, but lately I've been finding that Canadians are more authentic and haven't elected a narcissist like the Orange McNugget as their prime minister, which has made them stand out a lot in my eyes. I want to end with this comment, because it is showing that the global community, even though they may have seen the United States and Canada as very similar, the differences are now coming out, and Canada is coming out on top. I don't blame anyone from overseas for thinking that Canada and the United States are similar. When you're not close to the region, you don't get the experience. It's kind of like me when I moved to Malaysia. I thought Malaysia and Singapore were very similar, but they're very different in many ways. But what's happening right now is that citizens around the world don't need to travel to Canada or the United States to start to notice the difference between us. The US is digging themselves in the hole. And Canada, we just have to continue being ourselves. Okay, that's all I got for today's video. As you noticed, the co-host walked in towards the end, and I think she wants some attention. If you found any value in anything I said, or you want to hear more from a Canadian point of view, without the US bias, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next one. You want to say anything? No? Now you're shy. Say something. There you go.